This has been a complete shambles, and the fact that the Chancellor has been forced this morning through panic and fear to issue a statement saying that he would bring forward the event planned for October the 31st just shows how much chaos the government has caused. And we are now as a country paying a Tory party premium on government borrowing, and mortgage holders are paying a Tory party premium on their mortgages. And the truth is that the people who set fire to all this, the people who caused the chaos, simply cannot fix the damage that's been caused.
Should the Prime Minister stay in post?
I don't see how she can possibly stay in post. The policies that were announced in the original mini-budget on September the 23rd were the policies that she fought and won the Conservative leadership election on. So which policies does she now believe in? The ones that Kwasi Kwarteng announced, which are now having to be publicly torched by his successor, or the ones that are going to be announced today? And that's not just a question for today, that's a question for any general election in the future. Which policies would she support? Which policies would she campaign on? The ones that she believes in, or the ones that have been forced on her by economic circumstance? The position is impossible for her.
Are you calling for her to go?
Well, I don't see how she can stay. She has no
That's
authority.
not my question, Mr McFadden. With all due respect, are you calling for her to go?
We think she should go because she's got no credibility, no authority. She caused this damage. She was 100% co-owner of that mini-budget with Kwasi Kwarteng, and therefore, if she stays in post, why is she staying in post? It can't be for the interests of the country. This is just the Conservative Party looking after itself today, and they cannot fix the damage that they've caused. We've got the ridiculous spectacle of the new Chancellor going around the TV studios all weekend saying he's going to restore stability. Who caused the instability? Who caused the damage? Who caused the premium on gilt yields that we've been talking about? Who has caused mortgage rates to go through the roof? It's been caused by the Prime Minister and the Conservative government.
So you would accept then that it isn't Jeremy Hunt's fault. He has been brought in to try to steady the ship, and we were hearing from our previous commentator, to all intents and purposes, he is the de facto Prime Minister now. Would you agree with that?
Well, he's been in Cabinet for 9 of the last 12 years. His policy when he stood for the Conservative Party leadership was to have an even bigger unfunded tax cut than the one that Liz Truss favoured. He wanted corporation tax to come down to 15%. So I'm afraid I don't believe that the answer to the chaos that's been caused by the Conservative government is yet another fourth Conservative Chancellor in 4 months. The Chancellor I want to see is Rachel Reeves. The government I want to see is a Labour government, because the Tory party now cannot fix the chaos that they've caused.
Yeah, well, that takes time, as we know. Are you calling for an election tomorrow? I mean, what are you actually saying there?
Well, we always want an election because we're the opposition. But what we're saying is that the damage has now been done. The Conservative Party has caused huge economic chaos. You know, we had the former Deputy Governor of the Bank of England saying the other day that in recent times you would have compared the UK economy to, say, the United States or Germany. Internationally, people are now comparing it to Italy or Greece. This is what Conservative economic mismanagement has done. This is what ideology over economics has done. This is what the belief that evidence doesn't matter, all you need is faith, has done. It's been very politically damaging, but it's also been very economically damaging for the country, and it's got to come to an end.
The latest polls suggesting that if there was an election, a snap election tomorrow, which of course you say that you want, the Conservatives would lose something like 200 seats. There are reports that I'm reading over the weekend that you're training shadow cabinet ministers on how to be in government. How's that going?
I've not had any of that, but I was in government when Labour were in government last time. I was a minister for 4 years. It's really important that we think not just about being in opposition, but about the approach that we would take. And that's part of our job as an alternative government.
So have you been teaching the youngsters how to do the job?
I thought I still was a youngster, Kay. I'm slightly hurt by that, but no, I've not been teaching, but I'm always available for advice if anyone wants it.
OK, how do you see the next 7 days panning out? It was one of your previous prime ministers, Harold Wilson, I think, who said a week's a long time in politics.
Oh, these days, an hour feels like a long time in politics. And the speed of this reflects the chaos that has been caused. We'll obviously get the statement from the Chancellor today, but it looks once again like we won't have the OBR report that should go with that. There's another point about this. But I think the real reflection on recent days will be where we began, which is that the Prime Minister's position is impossible now because the government's attempted rescue act is based on publicly torching everything that she fought and won her leadership campaign on.
Politics is brutal, though, finally, isn't it? And you all, whatever side of the House you sit on, you all go into politics to make a difference. You all want to be public servants to make a difference to this country, to make it a better country, to make the people who live here safe and secure and prosperous. Do you have a word as another politician, a politician, OK, on the other side of the fence, but still, you know, she's been in the cabinet for 12 years now, more or less. Do you have some sympathy for her?
I've always got sympathy on a human level for people because you're right, it is a brutal business. So I think that's right. But my broader reflection on how we've ended up here, Kay, is that we've got to bring this period to an end where all you needed was faith and evidence didn't matter. That ideology could just blast everything out of the way. That institutions were just there to be disparaged and taken down. That's been damaging for British politics. I'm afraid the Tory party's been at the heart of that, and it's now damaging for the UK economy and damaging for mortgage holders too. So we've got to not just change some policies, but bring to an end that approach to politics too.
It's good to talk to you as always. Thank you very much indeed for joining us.